Alright, so a question I get a lot around Overwatch, and I don't really get it personally, but I see it a lot in chat and stuff. People seem to not know whether they should be playing Lucio or Mercy. So today, I want to make a video talking about who is better in which situation, Lucio or Mercy. Now before I get into this, I want to say a big precursor that anybody who knows actual proper team comps, the best team comp at the moment is double tank, double support. And that double support is Lucio and Mercy. Because Lucio and Mercy's abilities do stack, because Lucio gives different abilities than Mercy does apart from the healing, and both of their ults provide different services. So in saying that, having both is actually the most optimal way to play. But if you put a gun to my head and said, which one's better, Mercy or Lucio? Well, first, I'd question why you put a gun to my head just to ask me that question, because I'd answer without a gun to my head. Secondly, I'd say it depends on the situation. Now, Lucio and Mercy serve completely different purposes in a way. Lucio is amazing in terms of team general healing. If your team is full of only DPSs with 250 health, then you should be only playing Lucio. However, Mercy is better at focus healing. Mercy can heal tanks, which is why it's almost better to have a Mercy if you have at least one tank on the team, or two. If you have a Reinhardt on the team, a Mercy is more optimal. If you have a Pharah on the team, a Mercy is more optimal. If you have a double tank build, a Mercy is more optimal. However, otherwise, if it's just a bunch of DPSs and maybe a tank, but kind of a passive tank like D.Va, then you should probably run Lucio. The reason to this is because Lucio is only good at passively healing everybody. He's not good at actually keeping people alive. Mercy can keep you alive for way longer than you should. The thing is with Mercy is that if you get shot repeatedly as a tank, a Mercy can keep you alive for about twice as long as you should be alive. And as well as that, both of their side abilities, i.e. Lucio's speed and Mercy's damage buff, work in completely different ways. Again, Mercy's damage buff only really works on focus healing, because if you focus a tank for like a Roadhog or a Zarya and damage boost them, they do a metric fuck ton of damage. Same with the Zarya or a Soldier. If you damage buff a character that already does a lot of damage, it just melts people. People do not know how to respond to a Bastion being damage boosted by a Mercy if a Reinhardt is defending it. Of course, you can adapt and you can probably get over it, but it is pretty devastating when you first go out. For example, in Temple of Anubis, if you first walk out and see that and you didn't know it was there, you will just get melted by the damage, because the amount of damage Bastion does with a damage boost is ridiculous. However, on the flip side, Lucio provides a speed boost. Now, speed boosts, in my opinion, in a general sense, is better, because only certain classes really benefit from a damage boost. But speed boost, almost every class benefits. Every tank benefits, every slower DPS benefits, and every other support benefits, because it gets you to the point faster, it gives you the edge in team fights, and most of all, it makes it so Lucio is much harder to kill than Mercy. Lucio is a really difficult character to kill, and Mercy is a really easy character to kill. You need a really tight team to actually be playing Mercy efficiently, which is why the tanks are important, because they have to soak up damage. Because if you play with all DPSs, they can't tank any damage for you, so they're going to die and then you're going to die. But if you play as a Lucio, Lucios don't die. They just fucking climb along walls like a spider and just generally scare the shit out of people, because their alternate fire push is actually really scary. Now, getting onto my final part of the differences between them and where their advantages come is their ults. Now, Mercy's ult is a res, it just brings everyone back to life, and Lucio's ult is a counter ult, as I call it. It gives everybody about twice as much health as they did before, sometimes 3 times as much health. Now, this is very temporary and it goes down very fast, so the main use for Lucio's ult, apart from good pushes, is a counter ult. It counters almost every good damaging ult in the game. Junkrat's ult, Pharah's ult, Hanzo's ult. Almost every ult cannot kill somebody if a Lucio's ult is on them, because they get so much health off it. Lucio's ult is most effective as a counter ult, in my opinion at least. You wait for somebody to ult, then you counter ult, and then nobody dies, and they're one ult less. It's just a very efficient ult to have. Mercy's ult, on the other hand, is better in team fights overall, because it makes you last much longer in a team fight. If they don't have a Mercy and you do, you're more likely to win if you res correctly, because resing makes it so you technically have twice as many players as the opponent's team does. If they die, they come back immediately. It almost resets the game with them having less health than you do, and whoever they kill stays dead while your team doesn't. Now these, as I said earlier, both of these stack. As in, you can counter ult, and then if they all die even after that, you can res them. That usually wins team fights. Typically, the most efficient way to win a game is to go double support, because it's really hard to play against. The only way you can beat a double support build is build double support. That's why double support is so good. Everybody has to go double support or you fucking die. Someone saying that, in my opinion, they're both good in different situations and they're both optimal in different maps. But this is the most important part, if you can, build both, because both are fantastic and both have completely different uses, but both are amazing. Oh yeah, and fuck Zenyatta. It's nothing against Zenyatta, but he literally does not have the heals to keep your team alive unless he ults. Otherwise, he does not have the heals to keep anybody alive. He is the most offensive support by a mile. He cannot do any heals even close to Lucio or Mercy unless you are a god. So to summarize, Lucio is good for offending and for DPS based teams. Mercy is good for tank based teams, and from a support standpoint, Zenyatta can just go die in a pit. Oh yeah, and one last thing, Symmetra isn't a healing support, so stop acting like she's a support if you're playing her. Whew, that came from a dark place. I don't know, a lot of people seem to really think that being a Symmetra counts as being a support in the support slot. Anyway, pent up aggression aside, I'll see you again next time and have a nice day.